Here at Slasher Home Video, we like to ask the hard questions, the stuff that really matters. We demand answers for the stuff that some people are too scared to ask. Historians, archivists, some might call us. But not every question has a clear answer, and today we're not talking about something that I know shit about. Quite the contrary, we're gonna be speculating on something that has haunted me for years, and that is the DVD menu Cryptkeeper. We all know the Cryptkeeper, right? Tales from the Crypt was like a 90s TV staple. He's probably one of the most iconic animatronic monsters ever put on screen, and if you know that, you know that this is definitely not him. And I've always kind of been haunted by the mysterious origins of this animatronic. Who made it? Where did it come from? So yeah, today we are going to deep dive on all the info we have on this guy and see if we can't figure something out. So yeah, strap in, I guess, because it's gonna be a long one probably.
Join me. Perhaps you may be able to help solve a mystery.
So the original Cryptkeeper was designed, of course, by Kevin Yeager. He's the guy behind Freddy Krueger and Chucky. He's one of the greats. And it shows with the Cryptkeeper. He is a very high quality animatronic. He is very articulate. He went through a few changes over the course of the show, just like subtle differences here and there, but quality wise, he stayed on that same high level. And you know, in the 90s, he became a horror icon, like late 90s, after everybody was sick of Freddy Krueger. You got a lot of appearances from Chucky and the Cryptkeeper in like super random places. They were like the new cool talking monster that people weren't sick of yet. So you'd see him pop up in like wrestling and MTV. Cryptkeeper specifically had his own cartoon, his own line of toys. He had a cameo in Casper, had his own kids game show. It was pretty awesome. I was into it. I loved the Cryptkeeper. I remember Kmart being the hookup for the Cryptkeeper merch around Halloween. Rest in peace, Kmart. And like the look wasn't the only reason he hit that iconic status. John Cassier's voice work definitely played a big part. But still, if the animatronic wasn't on the level of quality that it was, it probably wouldn't have gotten that far. And so that's what we're talking about today. You know, where the fuck did this thing come from? And I don't want to be too hard on it. It's not a bad looking animatronic. Somebody made it and they're probably proud of it, and rightfully so. That was kind of punctuated for me when I was looking for an image to make the thumbnail. I was going through all these pictures and I was like, you know, this thing doesn't look bad. Its proportions are a little different. You can tell the material's cheaper. I think the big difference is in its articulation and stuff. So yeah, I am gonna make fun of it a little bit too. It's just, I think, the stark difference between the original and this one, as far as its movement and stuff goes, it's very jarring. But yeah, like whoever made this was obviously talented, but you know, we all can't be Kevin Yeagers, and that's okay. This guy could still make a mean puppet. And honestly, he probably wasn't given the same budget or time to make this thing. So that's also a factor too, you have to take into account. So we're not dissing on the artist. This is more of just like, you know, probably a studio thing, a money thing, and it's just something that I think is worth digging up. If you just look at like a side-by-side comparison, like I said, that's I think where the differences definitely start to show a lot more. The original Cryptkeeper was very articulated. I'm pretty sure I heard on some kind of interview or something that he had 27 motors in his head. His lips would curl, his eyebrows would curl, cheekbones would like go up and down. He had like very smooth, lifelike movement, and it took like a whole crew of guys to operate this thing to make it seem like that real. And the jankier version of Cryptkeeper that shows up on the DVD, it's nowhere near as complex. It almost seems like it might be partly hand operated instead of with motors and stuff. That's just a guess, just simply based on the movements and stuff. Basically, his mouth just flaps up and down, and his eyes have like three positions, forward and left and right. So yeah, not nearly as articulated, but also like, when we're talking about the quality of the animatronic too, the original Crypt Keeper looked a lot like actual dried, like crusty skin. This janky version is way more like plastic, shiny looking. His proportions are different. He doesn't look horrible, but there are definitely like enough differences that they stick out for sure. We can speculate, of course, why this thing was made. It was most likely made just for these DVD menus and or Ritual, which is kind of the third Tales from the Crypt movie. I think what I've always heard is that it just got stuck with the Tales from the Crypt label for the American release and had like the Crypt Keeper segments added in after the fact. But like the question is, which came first? Did they use it for anything else? These are kind of the things we don't know right now, because this was about 2005 and we can track the original Crypt Keeper to as late as 1997. He was in this weird like Nickelodeon Guts style kids game show called Secrets of the Crypt Keeper's Haunted House. It was a weird show that I think played on Fox Kids. You would like occasionally cut to him in between competitions, and it was basically just John Cassier talking shit to kids.
At least you're balanced on both sides. Come on.
And it's possible they used him after that. I know he could always, pop up in random commercials and shit. But I imagine at some point with them lugging this guy around and setting him up, taking him down, he was probably constantly falling apart and needing repairs. And as his popularity waned, the studio probably got less and less willing to like put money into maintenance for the guy. I mean, that's one of the shitty things about latex. It looks good, but it doesn't last. And so I'm sure it ended up somewhere in somebody's like collection, or who knows. So we've at least got him tracked to 97. And what this bad boy was built for is still up for speculation. Without other evidence, his first official appearance, as far as I know, would be October 25th, 2005 on the Season 2 DVD. The first guy who bought this thing and went home and popped it in, that was Ground Zero. And this is what he saw in all of its glory.
Listen up, creeps. I've got just the thing for a poison in your condition.
There is a caveat to that, though, that I'll get to later. But yeah. Also around this time, Ritual came out on DVD. It was actually made in 2002, and I'm pretty sure released without the Tales from the Crypt segments in another country, and it didn't get released for 4 years. So 2006, it comes out on DVD in the US. So you can see where the timelines are getting really like close together, because if this thing wasn't originally shot with those segments and it was shot just for the DVD version, it's like almost impossible to actually pin down without some more information which one it was made for, or was it made for both. It's kind of like a total guess. The caveat I was talking about earlier, another like weird detail, is that the Season 1 DVD came out the same year as Season 2, but with the menu screen being sans Crypt Keeper. It was just like an image of the book with like a spider crawling on it or something like that. But in the special features, it has like an introduction that has what's obviously like an early incomplete version of Janky Crypt Keeper. He's like inexplicably bandaged and in a hospital bed. You can see his hands and feet and the basic shape of his head under the bandages. Just more weirdness from the Janky Crypt Keeper lore. Maybe that strengthens the theory that it was made more for the DVD than it was the movie. That puts it even earlier in 2005 than the Season 2 DVD. And they could have just said like, we've got this for the DVD release. We might as well dress him up like a Jamaican and shoot some stuff for this movie we want to like slap Tales from the Crypt on, or vice versa. Or it could be something completely different, because it's not unheard of for like a janky version of a like popular property to pop up. I immediately think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they released all of those like weird home videos and stuff with really jarringly different turtles. But like the thing is, I'm sure if you look into those, there is some kind of record of who designed those, at least like a credit on IMDb or something, because on the IMDb for Ritual, there is no mention of the animatronic. There's no mention of the effects artist who worked on it. Presumably, there's no information for that about the DVD either. I couldn't find any on special features anywhere. The Ritual DVD doesn't have special features at all. And yeah, all the stuff I watched on the television show DVDs, there was nothing about it. So like, yeah, that's where we're at kind of. It's just the question of, did it pop up somewhere else before that? And I'm just bad at research. That's always a possibility. This thing did survive, by the way. Another weird detail to add to the lore book of this thing, because it popped up on FearNet in 2013, if you remember that channel. Rest in peace. They did a New Year's Eve special with them. And I found like a behind the scenes video on YouTube about that. It's actually pretty cool. These guys are like nerding out about being the first people to bring the Cryptkeeper back and it being the first time he's in high definition, stuff like that. It's a cool behind the scenes. And there is a guy on there who talks about getting the prop and having to repair it, the janky version.
It was in bad shape. I do a lot of rework on the electronics. The original electronics they basically tossed. Here, make it work. I'm making it work.
So yeah, I guess if you want to put it in like a rough timeline, it is from the beginning of Tales from the Crypt on HBO up to as late as 97 for the OG Cryptkeeper. At that point, probably other than just random appearances and stuff, he kind of fell out of pop culture up until 2005, theoretically, when he came out on the DVD Ritual. And then the last time he popped up was in 2013 on FearNet. And that's where we're at. That's all the information we have. So I'll just, pose the request if there's any HBO execs out there. John Kassir, Kevin Yeager, I know you're watching. Or even if, your cousin's best friend's sister-in-law worked on the set or something, and you have any information, any evidence, anything like that, please share it so we can solve this mystery and finally get some sleep after all these years.
Perhaps the answer will come someday soon, when the skies open up over another small community and the blobs once again fall to earth.
And while we're here, I'd like to take this time to mention, if you like Tales from the Crypt and other horror-related products, you can get that stuff at retrocryptco.com. Just throwing that out there, a little shameless plug. If you want some good stuff, some sweet Tales from the Crypt shirts, enamel pins. I do usually try to get anything Tales from the Crypt related that I can get my hands on. So yeah, if you want to go check it out, you'll be helping a small business and you'll get some sweet stuff. I guarantee you'll be satisfied. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for diving into this mystery with me. Hopefully someday we can get some answers. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And until next time.